The college football experience week 6 pregame show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use the promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Download that Game Time app. Use that promo code CFBX for $20 off. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100 times the amount of money that you put in. That's right. Turn $5 into 500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday they're giving away $100K. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for 100% deposit bonus up to $500. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people.
This is Brock Purdy from Iowa State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience week 6 pregame show. Great card of games. I call it Separation Saturday. I think this is the Separation Saturday. If you listen to the Bombs Down Under podcast with myself and CJ Sullivan, and shout out to the chat because I did call out for Oklahoma State on the money line as my second favorite dog of the weekend. And that came true last night. But we got a great card, and I'm excited to talk about it with this gentleman here. He is the host of the NBA Gambling Podcast. Folks, the NBA season is right around the corner. He is the host of the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Folks, that season's where are we at in that season right now?
Finals. It's finals time. Finals start tomorrow. The finals start tomorrow.
So what are you doing, folks? There's plenty of money to be made, and you should be following both those podcasts, and you should be following this guy right here, Terrell Furman Jr. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Kobe? Hey, did we hear our savior Brock Purdy from Iowa State shouting us out? Where did you go that you stalked Brock Purdy into giving you a drop?
We've had that one. Look, I don't like to play that often after that gambling probe in Ames. I don't want to get Mr. Purdy involved into that, but yes, we have.
Most likely Degen? Is it most likely Degen? Brock Purdy?
The whole state of Iowa apparently is putting in several parlays. I love the fact that no one questioned. The best part about that probe was, I believe, Hunter Deckers, the quarterback that followed Brock Purdy. His mother was putting in like 60 bets, like of substantial money. Absolutely fucking hilarious. Like no one's questioning the fact like this like 60-year-old woman's coming up to the window and just putting down a couple hundred on. I mean, you shouldn't question that. You shouldn't question that because, but at the same time, it would be a little shocking. That's one of the best stories. We need a 30 for 30 on what happened there in Ames and Iowa City. Terrell, we got an unbelievable card. I'm calling this one Separation Saturday because, you can kind of bullshit your way to a decent record by October 7th. I mean, look no further than, to me, Michigan, Georgia, Maryland. Some of those teams have kind of bullshitted their way to an undefeated record right now. Not to say that those teams won't be good, but I don't know how much we can deduce from that. Oklahoma's another one.
A lot of these teams, we haven't seen them play anybody. I mean, some of them are just now getting into their first conference game here. So, yeah, absolutely. A lot of people might not have played a road game yet. Like there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, Miami Hurricanes, another one. So the games that kick within 55 minutes, Maryland, Ohio State. This line has dropped last night when I was doing shows at 18 and a half, 18, it's at 17. I don't really buy into the Maryland Terrapins, and that is why I am locking up Ohio State to start things off. Lay the 17. If it was in College Park, maybe I would be hesitant. In the Horseshoe, get the fuck out of here. They're gonna blow them out. Lock it up. Seems like you're on board with this play, right?
Yeah, I mean, I follow the betting system, even though some may doubt its integrity. And because we get a couple of losing weeks, they don't want to be on the system anymore. But I never doubted it. We fade Mike Locksley every chance we get. There's not a chance there's not a chance that you sit here and you say, it would be a good job to bet Mike Locksley today. We fade them every single chance we can get. This Maryland team, I think they're untested. I think this Ohio State team did a very, very good thing getting a bye after that Notre Dame game. They got to settle down. They get to 2 weeks to prepare for this Maryland team and being able to absolutely destroy them. And they always kill Maryland. Like they're never even close into this game. Yeah. Give me Ohio State. I'll take the spread. I'll take the first half. I think
take everything, right? Yeah. I think you have to. I mean, I'll even take the over because I feel like Ohio State's going to score at least 40, right? The total's at 55.5. Maryland, I think, is good enough to score 14, 17, 21, something like that. But yeah, I mean, this is one where I feel like for 9 a.m. action here, and that's noon Eastern for anyone over there on the East. I have a substantial bet on that. I also took the Missouri Tigers on the money line at plus 205 earlier in the week. Curious. I mean, you could have took it with 6 points, 5.5, whatever it's at currently. LSU. I know this is a spot where you want to get back on them because they just lost, but I think this defense sucks. And if anything, I think Missouri's defense is actually pretty good. It's a strange road trip. It's a strange time to start your game. I just feel like Missouri right now is playing better ball than LSU. And I'm a guy in the preseason that I had LSU in the playoffs. So I'm eating a big old bag of shit with this one. But I think you got to take Missouri at this spot. I know. I know 5.5 is a weird number, but what are you doing here?
I mean, I'm on Missouri, and I just think that it's just a really, really bad spot for LSU. This Missouri team typically gives them problems, especially at Missouri. Like LSU just over the years has had problems with this Missouri team. And I think this is one of those spots where they do kind of look past this team. It is kind of a letdown. This is kind of a mail the season in, and the season's over. I mean, at this point, you've lost 2 games and you kind of given up any chance of you getting into the playoff. Maybe if this was a 12-team playoff, they might feel like they had something to fight for. But at this point, I feel like the season's over, and now everybody's kind of out thinking for themselves, thinking about the next step, the next step in their career, which is the NFL for a lot of these players. So yeah, sure. Let's take the points with Missouri. I did take the money line as well. They were on my For All the Dogs album that dropped just now. Just now. 74 people getting the album early on For All the Dogs. We do have Missouri up there at plus 180. So yeah, I'm with you, Kobe. Let's back the Tigers.
And look, LSU lost the last time they went to Columbia, 45-41 in 2020. I also think they play to what does Missouri have? That Missouri has a good defense that I think is pretty much better than almost any defense LSU has played this year. Maybe you can talk me into Florida State. Then Missouri's wideouts. Luther Burden is a fucking beast. All right, he's gonna be a 1st-round draft pick in the NFL in a couple of years here. The LSU secondary is depleted. Obviously, you got the tragic situation with Greg Brooks. They're also missing one of their linebackers today. The secondary's been terrible. Players have quit the team. It's one of the worst secondaries in all of college football, really, from a statistical standpoint. Luther Burden, Theo Weiss, Mookie Cooper, all those guys. Missouri's got wideouts, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, so the strength of Mizzou is to me the weakness of LSU. So like I think it's just a bad matchup for LSU. So I'm all over Missouri there. Red River Shootout, one of the best rivalries in all the sports.
Yep, and that's the proper name too. Red River Shootout.
That is.
Is Mama calling the Red River Shootout? I'm gonna call him Red River Shootout.
Yeah, it is the Red River Shootout. They try to. No one has ever shot anybody because of the name of this game. You know why you shoot somebody normally?
Because you don't like them, or you wanted to.
Yes,
you made the decision. The Red River Shootout didn't. I just don't know. Everybody changing these names and doing everything. I just don't understand it. It Red River Shootout.
Yeah, I mean, we can have a big conversation.
Is Mama calling the Red River Shootout? I'm gonna call the Red River Shootout.
Yes, it's the fucking Red River Shootout. Now, Oklahoma is one of these teams. Separation Saturday, like I say. We're gonna find out about Missouri. We're gonna find out about Maryland. We're gonna find out about Oklahoma.
We're gonna find out about Texas.
Yes, I'm laying the 5 all day. Look,
Lock
normally
right now.
Lock
battle right now.
Oh, okay. I love this. Now. Okay, where the hell is my music? Here we go. I think I got this. I think I got this figured out. Yes, in one corner. Drill Bourbon Jr. saying Boomer Sooner. Pick Dundee on the other side saying horns up. Horns up. It's disgusting, but horns up.
Kobe, you jinxed them. Like, you are the reason that Texas is not going to cover this game, right? Because you are the most unapologetic. You're the most unapologetic Texas hater of all time.
Fuck
and
Texas.
For very good reason. Yeah, for very good reasons. But you are one of the most unapologetic Texas haters of all time. And you know what happens on the NBA Gambling Podcast? Make sure you check out the NBA Gambling Podcast, Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You know what happens when I back the Boston Celtics as the all-time Boston Celtics hater? You know what happens?
What's that?
They lose.
Oh, they lose. That's what I mean.
When I back them, they lose. Kobe, you're not supposed to do this, man. You are not supposed to do
The worlds are colliding. The worlds are colliding. Look, I understand it. Look, I normally have a rule before last year. If you look at last year's 49-0 ass whooping, Dylan Gabriel didn't play. They didn't have a good quarterback room. If you throw that one out, I traditionally always take the points in these games because these games are fucking insane. They're always insane. The animosity, everything, However, I don't think Oklahoma's nearly as good. Like, I'll be honest, I don't even think Oklahoma should be a top 25 team. I think they've had a very gimmicky schedule. You play Arkansas State. Might I say Arkansas State when they were starting JT Shrout. Arkansas State's got 2 straight wins, but when they went to the freshman quarterback who's dual threat and pretty fucking good. Arkansas State with JT Shrout, I believe, is a bottom 5 program in the FBS. Then they got Tulsa on their 3rd string quarterback. Tulsa, I don't think is very good. Cincinnati, they only put up 20 against Cincinnati. They only put up 20, I think 27 or 28 against SMU. I don't think that this team is that good because if SMU or Cincy's the best defense you've played and you only put up in the 20s, I think Texas is gonna fuck you up. All right, now I we'll see because I think Texas. One thing I that stands out to me, and I hate Texas. You know it. Texas offensive line is for real. I think their offensive line. I think their defensive tackles are the real deal. I mean, Texas got all that fuck you money. They could go out and buy the best players in the NIL. Like they could buy them before, but now it's legal. And it shows. So I'm laying the points. I understand the rivalry side of it. I understand I might look like a fool. And Patty C is with you on Oklahoma. I don't know if you want to be on Patty C's side right now, but
Patty C's on my side right now. That's what it is. Patty C's on my side, and I hear what you're saying, but to counteract that, and you said it enough, so I feel like I shouldn't have to remind you. We look at this schedule. They played Rice. Okay. You played Alabama. Big game. You got the win. But that doesn't, as of right now, that doesn't look pretty good.
I mean,
you have a backup quarterback. You have a backup quarterback with Wyoming, and it was 10-10 in the 4th quarter. You played a backup quarterback with Baylor. You played a backup quarterback with Kansas. While he is a starter in about 100 other colleges.
Very true. Very true.
He's still their backup quarterback.
Yeah. No, and that's
And
fair. That's fair. But I mean, Texas, it's not Texas's fault that these fucking
no, it's
backups
not.
keep playing. Yeah.
But what that says is, do we know that if Texas goes up here and plays a very, very quality quarterback, which I mean, it could be Gabriel, it could be the what's the backup name that they got at Oklahoma?
Jackson Arnold. He's a fucking
Very good,
stud.
very, very good. And so it could be him. But there's still going to be issues. I think that this is probably one of the best defenses that Oklahoma's had in about the past 50 years. And so I'm all over Oklahoma here. And I mean, Kobe, is there any concern that there is 77% of the bets and 75% of the money on Texas? And this line has steadily dropped.
I will say the biggest concern to me,
that's textbook reverse line movement,
is that if Oklahoma was to get up one game this year, I do think it would be this one because of the way they beat them down last year, 49-0.
It's the ultimate. Venables needs this to keep the boosters.
Yeah.
He needs this win to keep the boosters. He loses the booster. It doesn't matter what they did at this point of the season. He loses the boosters if he doesn't get this win.
I just think Texas is a much better football team this year than Oklahoma, but we shall see.
They are.
This game's always
and I agree with
bananas.
you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Texas is the better football team this year, but they're going to lose this game. Horns down.
Shout out to Kip C. He goes, even if he bets Texas, it's still horns down. It's always horns down. I agree. Fuck Texas. Some other 9 a.m. games that I want to hit you, or noon Eastern games that I want to hit you on.
Oklahoma also making the For All Dogs graphic.
Oh, there we go. There we go. And I know Jong is asking for that parlay, that Korean barbecue. Maybe you already have it with Mizzou and Oklahoma. But how are your Wahoos going to do against Mike London and William and Mary right here? Because that's one of the only FBS games. It opened up. It opened up. Well, just because I remember you and Patty C trying to sprinkle fairy dust on me about Virginia, they're gonna be able to hit the over here. They suck, but they could win this.
They're covering games. They are
covering games. Great teams cover.
BC.
Great teams cover. BC.
That's what we're looking for right now. This one, absolutely not. I wouldn't lay any type of points with UVA against anybody. I'm actually my sister is now, one of the William and Mary tribes. So I have to back William and Mary.
Congrats to that.
Yeah, I have to back the William and Mary tribe here. So I'm going with William and Mary, man. I think that they're going to come in here. This is the ultimate little brother, big brother game. They get the opportunity here in Charlottesville. This is a down UVA team. William and Mary, one of the top teams in the FCS. Yeah. And this is going to go a long way for them. And moving up the FCS rankings, if you knock off not only an FBS team, but a Power 5 team, absolutely. I think this is a spot where William and Mary gets up for this game. Mike London, former UVA player, former UVA head coach. He's been around the block. He's coached at ECU. He's coached at Howard. He's coached everywhere. So I think they have a veteran. Yeah, it is. They fired him. Like, it's very personal. I think he's gotten his group together all this time for this game. He had this one circled as soon as it was on the calendar. So I think you got to take William and Mary here on the money line.
Yeah. And the line has dropped a little bit overnight, but yes, Rutgers, Wisconsin, the Big Ten. Is the Big Ten is pretty shitty conference this year. Rutgers is getting 12.
This line's coming down too.
Yeah, this was at 13 and a half, I think. I'm still taking Rutgers. I can't trust either of these teams. Give me Rutgers. I'll take the points there. Boston College, Army is also a 9 a.m. kick. Army's laying 2.5. I'll lay it. I'll fucking lay it.
At some point, you gotta get back on BC. Give me BC plus 2.5 here.
You know what? Here's one that I already bet, and I think folks out there, you should bet this one. Let's go to Raleigh, North Carolina. No more Brennan Armstrong. They're switching over to MJ Morris. Can that ignite the Wolfpack? They lost at home last week to Louisville squad. Marshall, Charles Huff, Rasheen Ali coming in. I like Marshall. but I think it's a bad spot to catch NC State. I am laying the 6. And look, I hate Texas. I hate NC State, but damn if I'm not listening to, this is me basically coming. The other me is saying, Colby, shut the fuck up. Take Texas, take NC State. I laid 6.5 with NC State. I think Marshall gets their first loss of the season in Carter Finley. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I just got to get the memories of Brennan Armstrong at NC State out of my head because it looked really, really bad here. But this Marshall team showed me that they are not perfect and they can be exploited by that ODU team last week. So I think this is another spot where it's a pretty good move to take Marshall here. I mean, to take NC State here and kind of fade this Marshall team 4-0. I think they are going to get up for this game. I think this will be close for a while, but I think NC State ultimately pulls away in the second half. I'll take NC State minus 6.5.
Let's go. Shout out to Jacob Singer in the chat. Says, I'm reporting live from College Station. He says he's forecasting, calling for a big old Jimbo Fisher W. Let's talk about that game. 12:30 here on the West, 3:30 on the East. I'm taking. I agree with them. Now it's not like I feel amazing about this game, but I went out. This is similar to the Missouri LSU game to me because the strengths of Texas A&M, I think, play to the strength of Alabama. So like Alabama only threw, I think, 12 passes last week against Mississippi State because Jalen Milroe, who I actually think is better than the national perception of Jalen Milroe. I don't know that they have fully used him the way that I would use him. I think he's actually a very good player, but they haven't, to me. And this is a knock to me on Saban is that thus far, I don't think he's used him to his best strengths.
It's because he doesn't know how. Like, just admit it. Yeah. It's so hard for coaches to admit that they are not good with certain types of quarterbacks. And I mean, everybody can't go out here and coach. You see, it didn't work with Jalen Hurts, and you see what type of quarterback Jalen Hurts is. So, and look at what Jalen Hurts did. He just took his team to the Super Bowl last year. He went to Oklahoma, and what did they make the playoff? I'm pretty sure they made the playoff.
They made the playoff. So, they lost to LSU. Yeah.
So I'm like, it's clear cut. He can't coach that type of quarterback. Like that's just what it is. Like he's just not good coaching the mobile legs first, open up things with the passing game, play action quarterback. That's just not his style. And so he needs an OC that can do that. And he doesn't have that on his staff right now. So, I mean, as much as I think that Jalen Milroe is not a bad quarterback, he's never going to look good at Alabama. And I will continue to beat the drum that the biggest fumbler in college football this year was Arch Manning because he could have been a Heisman if he came to Alabama.
Yeah.
If Arch Manning was on this Alabama team, Alabama is probably undefeated, and he's probably a Heisman candidate.
Dude, and Milroe, though, I actually think is a good starting quarterback in college football, but you have to utilize his strengths just like any other. And that's, to me, coaching 101 is taking your roster, taking your best players and accommodating them based on their attributes. You know what I mean? Like based on, okay, well, in this situation, he's a different type of quarterback than we've had lately. Let's
he feels like they can coach anybody.
Yeah.
They feel like they can coach anybody into being who they want, and you can't.
Yeah. So my problem here is that Texas A&M is loaded on the defensive line. I think they're awesome on the defensive line. I think they will bottle up the Alabama rushing attack, and Milroe's going to have to beat them in the air, which I actually think there is a way to do that. I don't think they have a game plan for the way to do that. And I think Texas A&M with the home crowd behind them, as long as Max Lawn Chair Johnson does not turn the ball over a shit ton, which if you're building a case for Alabama winning this game, I would say they pretty much would need Max Johnson to he's been very questionable as far as turning the ball over. He's actually playing decent, but he has moments where he just likes to give the ball away. I think that would be the blueprint for Alabama winning. I think A&M gets it done in a close game. I'm on the Aggies. It seems like you are too.
Yeah, man. This is the recruiting class, second year, where they had the number one recruiting class in all of college football. All these guys had a full year to develop. Maybe got some burn, and you have number two player in the country that year, Walter Nolan, along that defensive line. You got a whole bunch of, I mean, that was what, 8 5-star recruits, 16 4-star recruits in that class. Now they're in the rotation. Now they're getting the burn. I think this is the game that the talent is just too much for Alabama, and Alabama looks very, very limited. Second loss of the season. Give me Texas A&M on the money line.
Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Paul Bucher in the chat. Says reporting live from Chestnut Hill in Boston, where we are thrilled that there's no Eagles game here today. It's in West Point. A game right down the street from me, and I'm wearing the sweatshirt. If you're not watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Washington State, the Cougars are traveling to the Rose Bowl. Take on Chip Kelly and the UCLA Bruins. UCLA's laying 3.5. Wrong team favored. Like as much as I think UCLA is a solid team, Dante Moore is going to be a stud quarterback, but this is only what his, I think it's his third start. This is the best. This is no, I mean, actually Utah's the best defense he's faced, but I think Jake Dickert and Washington State are a very good defense. And I think Cam Ward is one of the most underrated players in the country right now. I am on Washington State plus the 3.5. I'm also taking it on the money line. What are you doing here at the Rose Bowl?
I am going against you. I'm going against you. This is my system. It's a rule game, and I love getting rule games where we have these unranked teams, unranked home favorites going up against a ranked road underdog. I mean, the unranked team wins outright about 60-something% of the time here. And it's simply because Vegas understands the line. And even though this team is one of the ranked team, even though they're a good team, they can succumb on the road. They can come to a, hostile environment and not put up the showing that is a ranked team.
Is this a hostile environment? I understand it in a lot of other ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that this is going to be a good spot because look at the defense for UCLA is really the thing that's getting me. They went into Utah and held them to 7 points on offense. Only reason they scored 14 is because they had a defensive touchdown. They held them to 7 points on offense. I think this UCLA defense is legit. I think that the freshman quarterback they have starting now that he's gotten a couple of games under his belt, he's gone on the road and he's played. He's coming back to UCLA. I think this is going to be the best game we've seen from him. And yes, it's Cam freaking Ward, and Cam Ward is really, really freaking good. And we are
by far the best quarterback that UCLA has faced. Because remember, they didn't get Cam Rising. So
yeah, they didn't. I think it's the best quarterback they face, but I think the defense steps up to it and holds Cam Ward to a pretty lackluster day here. I'm on UCLA. I think they win a nice gritty game here at home.
All right. Let's go. Cougs, baby. Cougs. All right, they've been disrespected by the world. All right, they got fucking Pat McAfee coming for them. They got. They're being left alone. There's a chip on their shoulder. They're gonna prove it. Noon 30 at the Rose Bowl, baby.
Allegedly, Kobe will not be at this game to get kicked out, so I like my chances.
It's true. I would get kicked out today too. I would. This is one I certainly would get kicked out of. Virginia Tech is at Florida State. The Hokies showed up, got a win against Pitt out of the fucking blue.
Oh, who's surprised? Who is surprised? Man, not only did they get a 17-point win against Pitt, like I said last week, but Jerkovich also looks so limited that he's not even the starting quarterback for this Pitt team anymore.
What the fuck is he doing? Shout out to Daryl in the chat. He says I'm on the Cougs. I can't like if he had
shout out to Daryl in the chat who's on the Cougs.
This is a crazy scenario here. When I read this, I said, "What the fuck is going on?" Okay, so look, if Phil Jerkovic never played this year, if he never played this year, I think he would have been like a third round NFL draft pick at quarterback. So now he transfers to Pitt, where Narduzzi's, with the exception of the one time he had Kenny Pickett, which he fired the fucking he basically ran the offense coordinator out of town when they won the ACC. I am perplexed by this. Why would Jerkovic agree to this when you are 12 months away from being a fucking draft pick? I understand he's played horrible this year. I understand that he'll probably, but if he just has a good showing at the NFL Combine, this is a guy that scouts were high on in August before the season started.
Yeah.
This is like career suicide in a way. You're going to quickly try to play tight end. Now, maybe he is an athlete, but I mean, like, I just think this is crazy. I think this is absolutely fucking crazy. If I was his dad, I would sit there and say, dude, what are we doing here? Just fucking transfer, sit out the fucking rest of the season, whatever. You know, like whatever you got to do. We're about to make money. I don't understand that. That's one of the more perplexing things. By the way, will Florida State cover the 23.5 against Virginia Tech?
No way. It's no shot. So one, I'm tired of everybody trying to convince me that Virginia Tech is terrible. They're not terrible. They may not be a world beater, but they're probably going to be one of these bowl teams that sneak into a bowl team, and everybody's talking about, oh, they shouldn't have been a bowl team. Well, check it out, they're a bowl team. And so I had to go check this. I had to go read and look into the history books because I couldn't remember, from the VA area. I've been following this Virginia Tech team since I was a kid. I could not remember a single instance where Virginia Tech had ever lost to this margin to Florida State. I had to go check, and I was right. From any of the games that I remember seeing growing up, and it wasn't many of them because they didn't play this rivalry too much because the ACC is stupid.
Yeah.
They do not lose this game by this margin. Even in the best of Florida State teams, they have not lost this game by this margin, and they've actually won some of these games outright.
It did open at 26, so it has came down 2.5 points.
And I'm pretty sure that's why the Sharps are on it, because they know for a fact that regardless of what team Virginia Tech puts out there, they typically are in this number. I understand this is a Florida State team that everybody says it could be in the college football playoff this year, but I'm just backing what I know about Virginia Tech is that they get up for this game. They play really tough defense. Drones is clear-cut the better quarterback, and their offense is so much better than them.
How the fuck were they starting Wells?
I have no idea. No idea. The incumbency.
Incumbency. Yeah.
It's incumbency. That's all it is. He was the incumbent, and Jones came in, took the job. Now, this is where we see the Virginia Tech team that I had forecasted to be a bowl team and to make some noise in the ACC. I think they keep this game close. It's a 10-point win by Florida State.
I think I took the Hokies, but I don't. You're more confident than me because I just don't know if the offense can. Oh,
knock it up.
Terrell Furman Jr.
This is too many points.
He's trying to score points with Real Money Kramer. Perhaps. The Hokies plus 23.5 points is a lock for Terrell Furman. Wake Forest is at Clemson. Wake Forest hasn't beat Clemson, I feel like, since Clinton was in office or something. I don't know. Clemson's laying 21. I actually took the fucking points, even though I feel I'm not betting this game, but I took, if you can get 21.5, I actually think you take Wake plus 21.5 at 21. I kind of feel like it's going to be around this number. So I don't feel very confident with this play. Clemson's fucked them up lately. And then I don't think this Wake team is nearly as good as they were a year ago. So what are you doing here in this matchup?
It could be Clemson minus 21.5, Clemson minus 21, Clemson minus 21.25. It don't matter to me. I'm taking Clemson.
Yeah. What about Syracuse at North Carolina? It's a big game here for Carolina's got Miami on deck. Miami's getting hype. Carolina, I don't know. This is an interesting spot because Carolina's 4-0. Everyone's, saying, oh, they could be a team to watch out for, but it's weird. Their 4 wins don't look as good as we thought they were. South Carolina struggling. App State struggling. Minnesota's certainly struggling. Pitt is struggling. So in a way, you could build a case that Carolina's not as good as what you think. And at the same time, Syracuse might have been counterfeit as well. I took Carolina minus 9.5. I understand the look ahead spot angle, but I'm laying the points. Syracuse is very depleted injury wise. What are you doing there?
I considered maybe a letdown spot for UNC and taking 9.5, but I don't know how you can watch the Sports Gambling Podcast and listen to Sean rant about Syracuse and sit here and say that I'm gonna sit here and take Syracuse. I gotta that's my guy, Sean. And he called Syracuse out for just completely no showing in the game. I'm with you. I think that there's a chance, but I'm not gonna bet on it. Give me UNC -9.5. Syracuse sucks, man.
Let's fucking go. I got a few locks that I'm gonna fire away right here from the mid-major ranks. Navy has yet to beat an FBS team with Brian Newberry, the new head coach.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God, a terrible North Texas team. North Texas, to me, getting a lesson in life right here. They fired their coach who took them to the Conference USA Championship last year. You're North Texas. Eric Morris comes in and they look like shit. They're barely beating teams now. They got to go all the way cross country to Annapolis, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And I actually think this Navy team is a little bit better than their record. Now, I'm not saying they're really good, but they're better than their record. I am laying the 6.5 with the Navy midshipmen, and I think this is a smart play. North Texas's defense is fucking terrible. They're giving up like 187 rush yards per game. Let's go. Navy's going to run. I think this is going to be something like 45-24 or something like that. Navy's defense is actually decent too. So, you interested in this play?
Yeah. I think I can get back. I can back Navy in this spot here, and really, what it is for me is I think that this is the game that Navy's kind of been waiting for, where they can use the triple option, and you really see the advantage it has over a lot of these other schools. Like, a lot of people really struggle guarding the triple option, really struggle figuring out where the ball is going, how quickly the ball is going there, how to get up, wrap, or tackle. The line has opened up 5.5 with money coming in on North Texas. And Sharps have went slam Navy, bringing them up to 6.5. I think the Sharps are the right side here. Give me Navy -6.5. Do I lock this up?
Yes.
We lock up Navy.
I already did.
Navy's not that. I mean, they're good, but they're not. All right.
Let's go.
I need to play. All right.
Joe Hackney says he's fading Navy all day. We'll see, Joe. See you at the winner's circle, buddy. All right.
North Texas is pretty bad. Like,
they're terrible. Yeah. I'm gonna stay locking up a couple mid majors here, and this is a crazy one that people will say, "What are you doing, Colby? It's 25-point spread." Kent State's one win is against I believe
the game you was talking about.
Central Connecticut State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ohio is 4-1 and should be 5-0 had their quarterback not gotten injured in that San Diego State game. Ohio's defense, by the way, 4 straight games of holding teams to 10 points or less. I don't think Kent State's going to score a touchdown on them. And then you add in the fact that last year Ohio was a 10-win team and one of their losses was to Kent State. They are going to fuck up Kent State today. Kent State obviously loses Sean Lewis and their whole team. I am laying the 25. I think Ohio, give me like something like 45-6. I think they're going to fuck them up. So let's ride the Bobcats there. It's a lock. This is a Dundee lock right here. Late lock. This was not on the Wednesday show. This is why you tune into Saturday morning. Call 1-800-PINK-DUNDEE. What are you doing here in this matchup?
Oh man, this is a lot of points. I mean, last week, was it last week? What's this? Yeah, it was no, it wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago. Bowling Green, 38-7. Ohio might just be the top, like the pure top of the back.
Yeah, they are, I think.
All right, I'll take Ohio. I'll take Ohio.
Let's fucking ride it. Okay, I'm taking you now to back to a Big Ten game that I have also wagered on. The disrespect for the Iowa Hawkeyes with this 2-point spread. Look, Iowa.
This doesn't smell.
It does a little bit. It does a little bit. I'll be honest, but I think some of it might be because Cade McNamara is out for the year. Iowa's quarterback announced out for the year this week.
No way they're giving Cade McNamara like 2.5 points. This line opened up at like 5. No way Cade McNamara is worth 2.5. I mean, for one, Noah tried to have a conversation with me when Cade McNamara said he was transferring to Iowa, and I said he's still a bad quarterback. I don't know why Iowa continues to just bring in bad quarterbacks and not get somebody that can at least throw the ball whenever you want to. But hey,
at
least they're finally starting probably the best quarterback in this whole QB room.
Deacon Hill, baby. He's fucking
with a name like Deacon. You gotta be the best quarterback in the room. Like.
And you're not going to lose. Now, look, I know that the people say, well, Purdue's had Iowa's number lately. They won the last time in Iowa City. That was Jeff Brom. And no disrespect to my guy, Ryan Walters, who I've been watching since he was a fucking safety at Colorado. And I believe in Ryan Walters, just not today. Iowa City is one of the hardest places to win in the country, in my opinion.
It's like one of the best home environments.
Yes.
You know, this is how I got into sports betting.
2.5.
You know, this
Iowa?
Iowa's how I got into sports betting. That is not a fake story. So the story is I was in college, and again, people don't know I'm not that old. Like this is not even 10 years ago. I'm in college, and I don't remember what year it was, but it was the year that Iowa was hosting Ohio State.
Oh, I was on the Hawkeyes. Yes.
Oh man,
they scored like 50.
So I was sitting there with my my friend in college, and we were just sitting there watching the games. And I said, "Man, I feel like Iowa's going to destroy this Ohio State team." And he was like, "What? It's Ohio State? No way, no." And so I was like, "Man, I don't know, man. Iowa's a tough place to play." And I said Iowa's going to win. Sure enough, they won. And I saw a tweet that said, you know, somebody had bet this money on Iowa and won all this cash. And I said, "What?" And I was like, you know what? I need to start doing that because I know what I'm talking about.
There you go.
Iowa's a tough place to play. Give me the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Let's go.
Done. I'm not going to bet it, though, because this line stinks. But give me the Iowa Hawkeyes.
I've already bet this thing. I don't care. I'm dying hard on this hill. Cooper DeJean.
Dive into the stink.
Cooper DeJean. Look, we haven't seen a white cornerback this good since fucking.
Oh, my gosh.
He's a fucking
What are you going to
stud.
say? Sensu. I'm curious.
Jason Sehorn.
I was very curious the name you were going to throw out here. I was thinking Cortland Finnegan. Is that the name he's going to say? Like,
dude, Annie's punt return. He had a punt return for a touchdown last week.
Since Patty C.
We haven't, Patty C. Since Patty C. had that burrito. He's a fucking stud. I was going to win that game. By the way, Texas State is taking on Louisiana. Texas State's a dog. Texas State has been fucking disgusting this year as far as putting up points on offense in a good way. I'm saying this Texas State team is a fucking train. All right. Watch out. Take Texas State in Cajun Field there against Louisiana. UCF, John Rice Plumlee
Texas
is back.
State did make the For All Dogs graphic, by the way.
Dude, have you watched this Texas State team?
They're good, man.
No one's talking about them. They're putting up like 50 every fucking week. What's it called? Yeah, I'm on Texas State. I'm gonna probably wager on that right before the game starts. UCF gets John Rice Plumlee back. Meanwhile, Jalen Daniels is out for Kansas. Jason Bean getting the start. This has changed. I know the chat was talking about this earlier. The numbers come across zero. Kansas was a 2.5 point favorite. Now UCF is a 2.5 point favorite, and I think
they let too many points go.
Yep,
Kansas
gonna win this.
Kansas as a home dog.
Yep, Kansas gonna win this.
This is Lance Leopold. This is our guy.
Kansas is gonna win this game. Let's go. Yep. Jason Bean is still good, guys. What the fuck are you guys doing? You act like he hasn't started like 30 games in his career.
Again, we could sit here. Matter of fact, Kobe, for one of your you do the midday show during the week and you ask for guests. Let me come on and let's just go through all 133 teams and let's keep pointing out quarterbacks that Jason Bean is better than. Yes. Because I promise you we're over under 99.5. I think we smashed the over.
Oh, definitely.
I think
he could start at he could start at a lot of. I mean, I that would be a fun exercise because I bet you it's a substantial amount of teams. I'd have to really organize that.
And just
but
shout
I'm
out to
saying,
Lance Leopold for keeping him on board.
Yeah.
I would have left. Shout out to Lance.
We thought he was leaving. Everyone thought he was leaving last year.
This is the spot. Kansas all the way.
I also bet Florida minus 18 against Vanderbilt. Florida coming off that disgusting loss. People calling for Napier to be fired. He lost to Vandy last year. Gator in the swamp. And I think this Florida team sucks. They're still covering 18 against Vandy here. Give me like a 42-20 final. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I think I'll take Florida. I mean, I'm really Vandy. I had my fun betting Vandy last week, and it was good until it wasn't. And honestly, truly, I'm not gonna get that vulgar on the show, but there's a lot of things that Vanderbilt can do with a 10-foot pole, and so I'm good. Matter of fact, I wasn't gonna lock this up, but I just got like flashbacks of how we somehow, some way, did not cover that game last week against Missouri.
Oh, it happened the week before against Kentucky for me too. I mean,
lock up, Florida.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna do lock up.
That's
Florida.
what I'm saying. Take Florida minus 18. Let's get in on it. Yes.
Even though very concerned about laying 18 with Graham Mertz. Very, very concerned about that.
Always concerned when he's a favorite. Colorado, Coach Prime heading to Tempe, Arizona, where the fake tits will be bouncing. They got a sellout in Tempe. Colorado laying 3.5. Man, I'm on the Buffs, even though I feel and this number's come down. This was at 4.5. It's down to 3.5. I understand Arizona State wanting to get up to beat them. I understand this game's on Pac-12 Network and no one's going to be able to watch it. I am still taking Colorado minus the points. What are you doing here?
I guess I'll take Colorado.
Yeah, I didn't bet this. Staying away personally.
Yeah, I guess I'll take Colorado. I think that it's a hope that Arizona State keeps this close. And I think it's going to be a glorious game. Shout out to the Arizona State guys we got in the chat. But I think this is a spot where Colorado gets the bounce back spot. They see the team that they say, hey, let's go ahead. Let's get number 4. Let's get number 5. Let's become a bowl team. Like, we see the path, and there is a path for them to become a bowl team with some of the competition in the Pac-12. So, yeah, I'll back Colorado here. I don't like it. Probably not going to bet it.
Jake Paquin mentioning and shout out to Jake, the guy. Jake is a true degen because he's always up to snuff. I will say on the props. He's saying Blake Corum, the Michigan running back, Jonathan Brooks, the Texas Longhorns running back, and Luther Burden for the Missouri Tigers. For each of them to score 2 touchdowns is 20-1. The one I think you're really gonna have to sweat there is probably Burden. Just because they have so many weapons, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like Mizzou's got 3 wideouts that are pretty darn good, but I feel like that's still sprinkle that all day. Let's go. Speaking of stinky lines, Old Dominion's a 2.5 point dog at Southern Miss. Southern Miss has been complete ass this year. Why is Southern Miss favored? And that is why I am betting on Southern Miss, because it just doesn't make any sense. This reminds me of last week's LSU Ole Miss game where the line didn't make any sense to me. And sure enough, Ole Miss won. You got to be able to smell it. You got to be able to find it. This is the one. Southern Miss wins in Hattiesburg. Do you have a play on this one?
I've let you talk me into fading the VA schools for too long. We took South Alabama against JMU and they got destroyed. And I let you talk me into it.
That's true.
Give me the Monarchs to get it done.
There you go. Southern
Miss. Hey, fun fact. Southern Miss, close to where my mother is from. She's now living in Norfolk, where ODU is from. We're on the Monarchs today.
Oh.
Plus 2.5, sprinkle on money line.
Mrs. Furman, Miss Furman play right there. Hattiesburg, Mississippi, down there on the Gulf Coast. All right. So if you listen to the weekend college football weekend Bob's podcast, where we try to find double-digit dogs, I said this week is very weak on double-digit dogs. I said the only double-digit dogs that I really feel confident taking were Oklahoma State was my second favorite play, against Kansas State, and my number one play was Arkansas at Ole Miss. Ole Miss stormed the field last week, right? Ole Miss, they fucking had a party. I
They
saw
dumped
a
the Gatorade.
video. Yeah, I saw a video of a dad crying with his son hugging him. Right. I saw the guy on the goalpost jump off the goalpost and get arrested. Right. These games are fucking insane in general. First off, Arkansas has won 6 of the last 9. When I see a 12.5 point spread, and I know that Arkansas just pushed LSU to the brink 2 weeks ago. Last week, I felt like Arkansas kind of gave Texas A&M that win. I don't think Arkansas is as bad as their record. And KJ Jefferson, Rocket Sanders is healthier. Arkansas, man. Yeah, Arkansas is a live dog in Oxford, man. Not only did I bet the 12.5, I actually think I got it at 13, but I took them at plus 400 on the fucking money line, folks. Let's ride the Razorbacks in Oxford. This is a fun one here. Let's go. What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm all over taking the Razorbacks here. They did make the For All the Dogs album cover as the largest dog on the slate. Plus 395 I got them at. And it again, this is the ultimate letdown spot for Lane Kiffin. We really don't like laying this many points with Lane Kiffin, but Sam Pulport Pittman can give these guys a game. I think he can dial up a defense that can really, really just throw some different looks over at Jackson Dart in this offense. It didn't look that good against, I mean, of course you look really, really good against LSU, whose defense is absolutely terrible. But I mean, against Alabama, look, they look like they can be exploited. And I think that Arkansas has a better defense than LSU where they can exploit and, you know, get some turnovers, be able to maybe even a defensive touchdown in this game. I'm expecting to see the defense really, really, really step it up for Arkansas in this game. Give me the money line with Arkansas.
We got Real Money Kramer in the chat saying rat poison has no effect on hog. Fun fact. Let's go. I think that's the play. With the battle for the little brown jug, it's going on. Michigan, Minnesota. Michigan's laying 18.5 points. I know Jake Paquin is in the chat. I think he's a Michigan fan. I like laying the points here. I don't love this play, but I'm laying the points just because Minnesota's offense looks so fucking bad this year. What are you doing here?
Oh man, I am. Minnesota's just really bad. I'm taking Michigan.
Yeah,
I think they get it done.
I locked them up last week against Nebraska. It's similar like offense to me. Like they both just suck on offense. So I think that's the play.
I just think Michigan's not being tested.
Coke Booger in the chat says my biggest play of the day. I agree. Like it's a smart play. It hit for me with Nebraska last week. I just feel like Fleck, he's a little more in tune with his program right now than Rule is, because Rule's in only game 4 or 5. So that's the logic there. I didn't actually wager this game yet. I might before the game kicks. I will take you to a lock though. I think the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will cover the 6.5 against the Louisville Cardinals at the Shack. I know Louisville's my squad this year, but not here. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I think Sam Hartman and company put it on Louisville. You agree?
Yeah, I'm rolling with Sam Hartman. I think that they had the 2 scare games, the 2 games that really had them worried about taking an L. That was this group being very, very resilient. Now this is the blowout win. This is the win where it's not even close and you don't even think about it. I know Louisville has been fun, but there's definitely – I watched that game versus NC State, and I saw how close we were to not getting that win. So
yeah.
Very much so. Give me the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to get it done here.
Let's go.
Should I lock this up?
Yes, you should.
Why not?
Let's go.
Let me add this to the card.
I'm your leprechaun, says Terrell Furman Jr. Let's go. Look, I'll keep the locks going. There's a couple other. I know we got to get to the parlay, but I am locking up Colorado State minus. Well, it's 3 now, but I still recommend you lay it in Logan, Utah against Utah State. I think Colorado State's heading in the right direction.
I'm locking that up too.
Lock that thing up. Let's go.
Utah State sucks. That's easy handicap for me.
Very easy. I also am locking up Wyoming at home, catching 6 against Fresno State. Fresno's been my squad, man. It's almost like Louisville, but I feel like I know when to bounce to back off them. This place gets fucking lit. It's gonna be cold as fuck. I saw like 34 degrees. You got to go up there, that crazy elevation. Take the points. Maybe Fresno still wins, but take the fucking points. But I actually rode the money line with the Wyoming Cowboys as well. And this line's come down a little bit, but I did like Arizona minus 22. At 21, I still like it, but obviously 22, anything over 20, like 20, if you can find 21 and a half, try to get that. Arizona at USC. Arizona's got 2 NFL wideouts that and 2 capable quarterbacks of getting them the ball that are kind of dual threat. I know Jaden Delora might not play, but how about my guy last week, man? Noah Fafita. Should we talk? Let's just don't panic if Delora does not play. Let me just rattle off what Noah did in his first ever college start against a top 20 team.
Yeah.
27 of 39, 232 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That is what I'm fucking talking about. Shout out to Noah Fafita. Yeah, I think they cover the big number against USC.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's no reason Colorado should have covered. And I bet Colorado. We came out here and said to bet Colorado. There's no reason Colorado should cover that game. I'm out. I'm completely out on this USC team. And I actually think that nobody wants to admit it, but they might be one of the more fraudulent teams in college football. That defense is really bad. Yeah, I understand how good Caleb Williams is and that offense is and Lincoln Riley. That defense is really bad. And it feels like every single OU team that has a great regular season gets to the playoff and gets run out of the gym by 40.
And they have Notre Dame on deck. So they played Colorado last week. Notre Dame on deck. What's the sleepy game here? It's this one.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go. Look, back to Jong's original question about the Korean.
That was a good point. Hold on. I'm sorry. That was a really good point. Lock up. Lock up Arizona plus 21. Oh man.
Let's go.
I need some late night action.
Korean barbecue special. I like a few dogs. But I know we differ on Washington State. We like Texas State. You like Oklahoma. I like Missouri. We both like Missouri. There we go. So we can agree on Missouri.
Both like Arkansas.
Yes, Missouri and Arkansas. The states touch each other. Let's fucking, you got the border battle.
Any temptation for Cal catching 7.5 at home?
Why has this line dropped so much though? This was 10 when
that's
it
what
opened.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm now I'm interested. I am interested.
What the hell? I just want to know why. Like, why that's a lot of movement. Yeah, I mean, at 10, I liked it better. Like I'm like 7.5. Now I'm like,
I mean, Cal did win the last time they were at Cal as 2-point dogs.
I think Cal's defense will be able to keep Oregon State somewhat in check, but I just worry. And Oregon State is coming off a top 10 win. They did have 8 days rest though. I don't know. No, I'm backing off that one just because that line smells to me. That smells to me. And by the way, we didn't even talk Kentucky, Georgia, but I'm curious. I mean, I took the points, but I'm not betting that fucking game.
I just don't think Kentucky can score.
I think they'll have. I don't feel good about that game. 16-6 a year ago, but dog wise, yeah. I mean, look, there's not a lot. I'm just border battle. Missouri, Arkansas. That's my special.
Yeah.
I know the chat was asking about Ivy League games. Ivy League games. Yeah. Rhode Island is taking on Brown. Now, obviously Rhode Island is not an Ivy League school, but Brown is. Rhode Island is, I believe, laying 10 points, 9 points. Rhode Island starts Kasim Hill, who started at Maryland. Rhode Island's going to fuck them up. So I think you lay the points with Rhode Island. And another Ivy League game, because they asked for an Ivy League parlay, is Penn is laying. No, I can't do that. The Hoyas are my team. Yale and fucking Dartmouth. Dartmouth is laying a point. I think, gosh, that's a fucking hard game to bet. All right, let's go to
Ivy Leagues today.
Yeah. Lafayette and Princeton. How about that?
Yeah, you missed it last night. You missed it last night catching, what was it, 20?
Yeah, Jameson Wang got that cover, man. We had to sweat. In that one, but take Princeton. There we go. So Princeton. That's my Ivy League parlay. Any other games you want to touch on? Any other parlays, or you want to do a tease? If you want to do a tease right now, I say bring NC State down to a half a point.
Okay.
Let's bring
NC State just gets the win. Yeah. All right. I can buy that.
Dude, let's bring Arkansas up to 18.5.
Hold on. I'm trying to put this in as we go. All right. Arkansas. Yeah. I like Arkansas. I think I don't think that this is a blowout win for Ole Miss. This is a sleepy spot. So,
Notre Dame down to a half.
Yeah. Outright. Let's go Texas A&M up to 8.5.
Yeah, I like it. 8.5 with the Aggies, and Arizona to 27. You could do that. You could do Michigan down to 12. No, Michigan down to 12.5. Michigan down to 12.5. That just makes too much sense.
Notre Dame, Michigan down to 12.
Even Florida down to 12 is appealing. Florida down to 12 too.
No
Add
way.
that in there.
No way.
Yeah.
We're not adding Graham Mertz. I got to stop you there, Kobe. We're not adding Graham Mertz. Oh, we didn't talk about Iowa State. Give me Iowa State on the money line. Get it done against TCU. Chandler Morris sucks.
I like it. Yeah, he does suck. Let's take the Cyclones. Folks, that's our show. This is the College Football Experience. We'll be back tonight with our reaction show, so stick around. All right, let's go watch the Red River Shootout. This is the College Football Experience Week 6 pregame show. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.